continue on with the discussion of Congress, although, as you can see right now, I'm not in my suit and tie and dressed up. I actually just got back from spring break. I was in Florida. And so I'm sitting in my backyard. You can't see my pool. Kind of pretty. Flowers behind me. Kind of a different vibe when we talk about Congress today. But still the same material, you know, the important material needing to be covered. It's not spring break for you. So for this particular lecture, you're going to need, this part of the lecture, you're going to need to have your browser open, your internet open, because you're going to, and your lecture notes, because you're going to need to, on a couple of occasions, go ahead and click on some links. So go to the section of the lecture notes where we are, where it says constituent service, and that's video number Congress .04. Go to that part of the lecture notes, and then we'll get started. Now the third function of Congress, the third primary function of Congress, is what we call constituent service. Sometimes it's referred to as casework as well. And again, a constituent is anybody who lives in a district that you represent. So that's what we mean by constituent service. So if you're Bucky McKeon is the representative for Santa Clarita Valley, I don't live in Santa Clarita Valley, so I'm not Bucky McKeon's constituent. He's the member of the House of Representatives for Santa Clarita Valley. I'm not his constituent. But if you live in the Santa Clarita Valley, you probably are, depending on where you live, but almost surely he is your representative, so you are his constituent. So another function of Congress is to go ahead and help assist constituents in dealing with the government. So oftentimes what will happen is, suppose you're trying to get a passport, you're getting ready to go abroad, and you've applied for the passport and you've been waiting for a long time to get it. And here we are, it's, you know, getting a few weeks or months away from when you're getting ready to leave, and you still don't have a passport. And if you don't have the passport, you can't go. You paid for the whole thing. What you can do is call up your congressman and say, hey, this is your constituent. I'm having a problem getting my passport, blah, blah, blah. You tell them the whole story. And a lot of people think that members of Congress don't care about this kind of stuff, that they're not like, well, they're not going to listen to me. They will. They will. Because, and here's why. If you call up Bucky McKeon's office and you say, I'm having a problem with getting a passport, and the next thing you know, within a couple of weeks, you've got the passport, who are you going to vote for the next time there's an election? Aren't you going to vote for Bucky? Not only are you going to vote for Bucky McKeon, you're going to tell your friends, hey man, I had this problem with my passport and this guy called him up. I didn't think he'd help me at all. Totally helped me. 2 weeks later, I had my passport. They like to help out their constituents because it helps them get reelected. Now, so with that in mind, I want you to go, I'm talking about how important constituent service is and how much they care. I want you to go to the link, the first link that says, let's see, what does it say? It says Representative Bucky McKeon. I just want you to pause this, and I want you to click on the link and just listen to Bucky's spiel. You'll see him, he'll walk out and start talking to you. So go ahead and pause this right now and click on the first link. Okay. Now, so hopefully you clicked on the link, and I was just sitting there staring at you. You actually clicked on the link. And what you saw was Bucky come out and talk to you about, you know, how he wants to help out. And that's what they're really interested in that. They really are concerned. If I were to try and contact Bucky McKeon, one of the first things that they would do is they would ask me what my address was, and they would find out that I didn't live in the Santa Clarita Valley, and be like, we're not interested. But if you live in the Santa Clarita Valley and you want to send a message to them, they will be interested and they will respond. And they have people who work there who their job is to take your phone calls, write down what your concerns are, and respond to them. Now, here's the extent to which they go ahead and they are concerned about constituent service. Go ahead and click where it says flag requests. And pause this, go click on the flag requests, and then come back. And then I want to talk about what you're looking at. Okay, so hopefully you've gone ahead and you're looking at it. You see at the top page where it says flag requests, and then if you click on that and you sort of scroll down a little bit, what this is if you go ahead and you want to send somebody a flag, if you want to send somebody a flag like in honor of a birthday, or maybe the day that they retired from the Navy or something like that, you can go ahead and send a letter to your congressman. You can fill out this form, give them your name, your address, all that kind of stuff. And if you look down, if you scroll down, it says indicate the number of which the flags you want below, and you can get cotton or nylon, right? You can get 3x5s, 4x6, or 5x8. And then they'll even ask you if it's important for this flag to be flown on a particular day, enter that day here. What they'll do is if you say, hey, yeah, my grandfather retired from the Navy on August 2nd, can you go ahead and fly the flag over the Capitol on August 2nd? And what they'll do is they'll go ahead and they have somebody who goes out, hooks the flag up, sends it up the pole, lets it fly over the Capitol for a little while on August 2nd, because that's what you asked for. Put it back down, fold it up, and they'll send it to you in a little box, right? Like a triangle, actually, and it'll say like the date that it was flown over the Capitol. They'll do this kind of stuff. They do this kind of stuff, and every member of Congress has the same thing. They'll fly the flag. So they got these guys who, that's what they do. They go ahead and they'll run the flag, the thing up the pole, fly it over the Capitol, take it back down, and mail it to you. My neighbor got one of these. He worked in he used to serve in the Navy, and when on the anniversary of his retirement, that's exactly what his wife did. His wife went ahead and she ordered one of these flags, and it sits on his mantle. It's really very nice. It's in like a triangle. You know how they fold up flags like in a really nice triangle? It's all folded up. It's in a glass case. It's got a little inscription on it, and they'll do that. Members of Congress will do just about anything they can to make you happy within reason, right? So constituent service is really important to them. So that's the third function. Now the fourth function, and now we can go back to the lecture notes. The fourth function that they for Congress is oversight. And we'll probably be talking about this a little bit more later on when we talk about the executive branch and the role of the executive branch. But the bottom line for oversight is this. When Congress goes ahead and passes a bill, so for a bill to become a law, it has to pass the House of Representatives, then it has to pass the Senate, and then it goes to the president's desk. So if the president signs the bill into law, so now this bill has become a law, which we'll be talking about later on. Once that bill becomes a law, Congress's job isn't over. Remember what we talked about earlier in the semester? We talked about how Congress's job is to go ahead and write laws. The president's job is to carry out the laws. Well, one of the things that Congress has to do is to make sure that the president is carrying out the laws the way Congress intended him to do. So if they write a law and they tell the president this is what this law says, they've got to make sure that the president is doing what they want him to do. That's their job. So they pass a law. If he signs it into law, they say, here you go, Mr. President. They give him he now has a law. He tells his people, okay, we need to carry this out. But Congress has to go ahead and oversee what he does to make sure that he's doing it, or she's doing it, I apologize. He's doing it or she's doing it right. That's a really important function of Congress. The problem is that you don't get a lot of rewards for doing oversight. Constituents don't really care too much about members of Congress doing oversight, but it is a vitally important function of Congress. So we have four functions of Congress. Lawmaking, probably the most important one. Representing the people, and we talked about the delegate theory versus the delegate approach versus the trustee approach. We talked about constituent service, where members of Congress go ahead and they try and assist their constituents with problems and dealings with the government, and then oversight of the executive branch. Those are the four functions of Congress, and very important functions, and you should know all four of those and be able to give examples of each. In terms of an oversight example, you can just use the basic idea that if Congress passes a law having to do with the environment, and they give the law to the president, and the president signs it, or they pass a bill and the president signs the bill into law, and let's say the president is supposed to make sure that something in the environment is being protected. The Congress has to make sure that the president is doing what they intended him to do. So that's how they have to conduct oversight hearings. And what they do in oversight hearings is what they'll do is periodically they'll call people in to Congress and they'll say, hey, send some people over from the executive branch and have them tell us what they're doing. We want to report on what's going on. And so members of the administration, the people who work for the president will go ahead and come in, and basically it's like give Congress an update on how they're doing it, and how they're doing, and if they're doing it, they always think they're doing a good job, then Congress might not like the job that they're doing. So it can get kind of dicey in those meetings. So 4 functions. Okay? Next, we'll be moving on to committee structure in Congress.